Now, and Trump is Trump, but he's, this was a long time coming. The evil geniuses, the economic libertarians of the right, the rational people who really run the Republican Party and have, certainly for the last 20, 25 years, have allowed in all kinds of exciting falsehoods into their mainstream. Put the racism aside and the bigotry, which had been preceding that as part of the game plan. But these exciting falsehoods that either serve their interests, like, for instance, pretending that climate change is not real and nothing to worry about, but then all kinds of increasingly preposterous conspiracy theories. Yes, we have QAnon the last few years, and yes, that was part of what drove last Wednesday, but that kind of nonsense has really entered the mainstream of the right for more than a generation now. So Donald Trump is a horrible symptom of this long-term game as a way, as you suggest, to get people other than the rich and Milton Friedmanites to join up. But it didn't happen overnight.
And Kurt, I also want to talk about businesses and the responsibility that businesses have. It's something that people don't like going there. I'm going there. It was the big businesses and the big corporations in Germany in the early 1930s that thought Adolf Hitler was a fool, thought he was a clown, thought they could control him, and thought they could get good business legislation passed by him. And also were so fearful of the spread of socialism and communism that they struck their deal with the devil. I'm just to be really blunt, I couldn't understand why so many corporations in America, why so many hedge fund people in America, why some of the biggest business people continued with Donald Trump. But your book certainly helped explain that, because at the end of the day, it was money above all things. As you said, profits are essential, turned into profits are everything.
Well, exactly. And that preceded the conspiracy theory madness. It's preceded Donald Trump. It really was at this certain point when Milton Friedmanism became this extreme article of faith for the Republican Party, and including that all regulation was bad. Taxes should effectively be eliminated, and that's really all we care about. And on and on and on, government and discrediting government. That has been part of the game plan, certainly since the 70s and through the 80s. What was last Wednesday but the right's anti-government feeling whipped up into this hideous, violent, anarchic apotheosis? That's what you get. And as you say, big business, and there's plenty of blame to go around, as you know. I blame Democrats a little bit, but big business and rich people and people who just want their power and their wealth to be fortified and increased at the expense of everything else. It's this nihilism that really pervaded the basic Faustian bargain that the right has made for now 40, going on 50 years.
Yeah, and it's not just the biggest businesses, Maura. It's an awful lot of my friends. It's a lot of business people I talk to every day. I am surrounded by Trump supporters who continue to support Donald Trump, even after he called for the arrest of Joe Biden 2 weeks out, even after he refused to guarantee a peaceful transition. And if you really push them, at the end of the day, it was like, well, taxes are low, my family's doing well, business is well. I'm afraid.
They would say he doesn't mean it.
Yeah, he doesn't mean it. And those socialists and the Democrats, blah, blah, blah. That's been the justification. So I want to democratize this blame and take it far beyond the CEOs of multinational corporations, because there's 75 million Americans who share in this blame.
Yeah, I mean, given all of that and given the context here, I was just wondering, Kurt, if you could talk a little bit. I mean, how do we actually build support for things like increasing wages and other similar correctives in this environment after 20, 30 years of this narrative? And, even further, a step further, how do you do that in spite of the racism that we see? And how do you build support for correctives to address racial inequalities and inequities in economic realities that may not be answered by a simple wage increase across the board?
You there, Kurt? I'm afraid Kurt has frozen from now. It's kind of bad when the guy who you have on for a week to talk about his book is the one who freezes. But we're gonna get his Wi-Fi churned back up there. Obviously, there's a conspiracy among some of the most powerful multinational corporations to freeze the Wi-Fi in his New York apartment. So let's instead, Anand, let's get your thoughts on this, because again, and let's look at it. The Senate is going to be run by people who are probably like me, a despised small government conservative, along with Democrats who are neoliberals. So you're looking at Mark Kelly, Kyrsten Sinema, Governor Hickenlooper, Mitt Romney. I could go down the list. There are about 10 of those moderates who are going to be making these decisions. But Anand, when you look at the wealth accumulated by the richest corporations on the planet during the start of this pandemic, and the fact that you paid more in federal income taxes than Amazon, isn't that an easy sell regardless of ideology?
Yeah, when I speak to folks like that, my message is very simple, which is you are not living in the country you think you are.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.